Welcome back to my channel. I'm Kristen. I have another dinner recipe to share with you. So without further ado, let's get going. All right, so tonight I'm making birria for dinner for my family tonight. This is one of our family favorites for dinner. And I have chuck roast here. Let's see, 3 pounds. And then apple cider vinegar, cloves, bouillon cubes for beef broth, bay leaves, poblano peppers, dried chilies, which I will rehydrate, and this is going to be like for the sauce, the cooking liquid for the meat. And the vegetables I'm going to be using, Roma tomatoes, garlic, and yellow onion. And then the seasonings, oregano, cumin seeds, peppercorns, salt. And so first thing, I'm gonna get this cut up, chunk it up, season it really well with salt and pepper, and then I'm going to put it in a cast iron Dutch oven and get it seared off really good, and then I'll continue with the sauce. So I hope you watch till the end on this video. This is a really good recipe, and you should try to make this. It takes some effort, but it's easy to follow, and it always turns out really, really awesome and good, and we love it. So I'm going to get started. So, yep, just get the meat chunked up. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be, really even and everything, just get it into manageable chunks like this here. Season well with your salt and pepper. Bring it up to room temperature if you can. It'll just kind of cook better that way. But so I set the meat aside so it could warm up a bit while I get the sauce going. So in a saucepan here, a large one, I'm going to just half all the 5 tomatoes, Roma tomatoes, half up the garlic and the onion. Don't worry about taking the skins off and all that business, because we're going to end up blending it anyway and throwing away all that leftover stuff. So, but I want to just take the skin off the onions just because, I just don't want to have all that in the blender. But anyway, that's as far as I went with breaking all the vegetables down. Like, I left all the garlic in the jackets or whatever. Anyway, and I put them in there. Okay, now moving on to the peppers. So these dried peppers, you have to take the seeds out. You don't leave them in there. And take the little stems off. This step, it takes a little extra time, but it's okay. It's not that hard, and the seeds come out really, really easy. They're dried, so they're just, they're just free in there. Anyway, and then fill the pan up with cold water, and then add the seasonings. I added a beef bouillon cube, some Mexican oregano, the recipe calls for cumin seed, but I have ground cumin. That's what I keep in my cupboard, so that's what I used. And some bay leaves. And then you just cover this, some cloves. Don't skip on the cloves. It sounds kind of odd, but it adds an extra depth of flavor to the sauce. So then cover it and let it come to a boil. Let the sauce boil for 15 minutes. And then in the meantime, while that is happening, get your meat and sear it off in a hot pan with some veggie oil or canola oil. And then after that is browned up or seared, we're not cooking it at this point, by the way, just searing it. And then take it out of the pan and set it aside. And then it's time to blend the sauce. So I like to take all the veggies out of the pan, so just so you're not sloshing the hot liquid all over yourself in your kitchen. So I like to just use a spoon, a strainer, and just get all the veggies out, put them in the blender first, and then pour in all the leftover cooking liquid from boiling the veggies. And then this should be enough to blend up your veggies. And then add just like a couple splashes of apple cider vinegar, and then just put that puppy on high and let it blend away for a minute or two. It's not going to be perfectly smooth because we have all the seeds and the skins from the garlic and from the tomatoes, but we're going to strain all that out anyway, so it's okay. But just make sure there's enough liquid so that it can blend easily in the blender. Okay, so over the Dutch oven pan, not really hot anymore. Well, it is. You can see the steam. But just put your strainer over the pot and then pour the contents of the blender into the strainer. You can use a little extra water just to pour in there just to help it strain a little bit faster, and use a spoon to really kind of push all the liquid through the strainer. Yeah, it takes a minute. It's kind of messy, but the results is wonderful. So this is all the leftover junk. You don't need it. Throw it away. You don't want that to end up in your sauce, so make sure you strain your sauce. And then add the seared meat back into the pot with your sauce that you've just created. That beautiful sauce. And then we're going to have, oh, I'm sorry. I also like to add a little bit of chicken bouillon in place of salt. I like to add that in. And then I'm going to add one more thing in here, I think. No, I'm not. So just stir the bouillon powder into the sauce a little bit. Make sure the meat is totally submerged into the sauce. And then it'll go into a 300-degree oven for about 3 hours. You are going to cook it low and slow. And it's going to result in very tender, gorgeous meat that is so good. Okay. I'm going to put it in the oven. And then after this, I'm going to go to soccer practice. And then I'll come back and the meat will be done. Look at this, 3 hours later. We have it all done. Get it right into frame there. And look at that. It's gorgeous. It's wonderful. And it's perfectly tender. So take your meat out and use your tongs, and if you can't just easily mush it like this, then it's not ready yet. Put it back in the oven and let it go for a little bit longer. But at 3 hours, it should be pretty close to perfect. So you're going to shred up your meat. My daughter wanted to shred the meat up with 2 forks. I said just mush it with 1. That'll be good enough. But she's like, no, I need to use 2 forks. I said, go ahead, knock yourself out. But doesn't it look good? It's so tender and it's so flavorful and so worth the extra effort, okay? This is such a great recipe. So as you're shredding the meat, put the meat into a separate bowl, just like we have here. And then get your sauce, your beautiful sauce. You don't need to dump all of it over the meat, just, most of it, just to make sure that the meat is perfectly coated in all that wonderful flavor. Toss it around, and then you're ready to make your tacos. So to make the tacos, I like to use yellow corn tortillas. I didn't show, but I lightly fried each corn tortilla just to soften it and to make it more pliable to fry up in the pan. So in a nonstick skillet here, it's messy. I apologize for that. But just dunk each of your corn tortillas in the sauce and then put it into your hot pan. And then add whatever you want inside of it. I like to go with cheese and onion and olive. And then once you have your filling in there, then flip the other half of the tortilla over it. So then you have a taco. And then you can do your second one. I fed each of us 2 of these tacos. And that was plenty. You could also do like a street taco size tortilla instead if you want, you know, smaller ones, but we like to use these larger size of the yellow corn tortillas. So yeah, and then you can put whatever toppings you want on top. I like sour cream, avocado, a little hot sauce, and then there you go, your dinner is done. And you can use the leftover sauce there. You can dip your taco into it if you want. My kids do that, I don't. But this meal is just really good. We always look forward to this meal when I make it. I make it every so often. I don't do it too often because, you know, you gotta have the time to do this. So here it is. It's all gorgeous. It's cheesy. It's meaty. It's saucy. The spice level is just great on it. It's not spicy at all, really. And I just love it. We love it. So I'll have this recipe linked for you in the description for you to make on your own if you want. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.